Hey, what's up guys? It's Ian here with Nolo Designs and the truck. We have filled several questions about a build walk around, and to be honest, it's been quite a while because the build walk around that we have, I didn't have a roof rack, I didn't have a lot of things actually. So we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So first and foremost, we've got our Ridgeline Katana rack here on top of the truck. I do have a set of Heretic Studio handles on it, and I like these. These are the dome lights, so they're always wired. All you have to do is just press the button on them. I have one on each side. I have a couple of our gear anchors for the rack as well. These are universal, so if you have any rack with a 1-inch center, you could use them. And those have been really helpful for strapping like the tire down and things like that to the top of the truck. And we're going to be coming out with, actually within the next week or so, you'll be able to get the cleaver style roof rack, which is more of the classic roof rack. It's going to have that straight cut on the side, so you won't have this additional panel here in the front or this anchor point if you were to use it for an awning. This is actually where I tie my awning in, so when I swing my awning open, it hooks in here. Moving around the back, soft topper. This has been part of the build since almost day one. It came off my blue Ridgeline. I had a 17 Ridgeline before I picked up this 21, and it is it's holding in there. It's starting to show you know, it's getting a little faded here. I got a little tuft here on it, and these are starting to fade out. They're still nice and rich black on one side, a little bit sun faded on the outside, but overall it's holding up really well, and I'm happy that we chose to go with it. In the back we have our adventure extender. Admittedly, I drive around with a white water one on here just because it sticks out like a sore thumb. That's the biggest reason. I'm not always in need of having extra gallons of water with me, but it does come in handy. I will say though, the Rotopack extension thing, I had to fight with it because I used to keep 2 cans on here. Now I only keep 1 just because one of the pieces inside the Rotopack like handle messed up on me. So that's been something that I fiddled with. I did go to a Ridge, got rid of the Ridge line when I pulled off the all-wheel drive logo so I could put in our nolodesigns.com sticker on the back of the tailgate. We have a topper tent, which I thoroughly enjoy. It works out great. It's awesome for camping with the truck because I can just drop the tailgate down, and then this unvelcros. It has magnets sewn into the material, and this unvelcros and just rolls from the top of the soft topper down to the edge of the tailgate and loops underneath the bottom of it. So it basically just creates a wedge from the top down to the bed, and I throw an air mattress in here and I'm ready to go. I don't think there's much else. We don't have anything. I don't think I'm hiding anything special in the trunk. Yeah, nothing special in the trunk really. I've got the gear tray in here that comes in handy. As you can see, I've been ripping stuff in and out of here, so this thing's a bit of a wreck at the moment, but that's okay. That's what trunks are for, right? And it's a catch-all. Coming around here to finish up our kind of starting towards the top this is an Overland Vehicle Systems 180 degree awning. It's been with me for quite some time now, probably like 3 years or so. I have nothing bad to say about it. Price point's good. It works. I think it would be cool to have maybe a fancier awning, but for all intents and purposes, I can't justify it. So it's been good. Haven't had any complaints with it, and continue to keep trading it from one vehicle to the next. We've got well visor window shades. These have been good. They do make the one on the driver's side makes a little bit of noise, and I'm not sure why. I think it's just because the 3M came unstuck from the window, and so it rattles just a little bit when you're doing like 70 and it's really windy outside. So it's got to kind of have this perfect storm going on with it. Working our way down, since we're back to the front of the vehicle, I can't not talk about the mirror brackets or the ditch light brackets. We've had this around for quite a while. These came out this year, and I'll be honest, I love these. I would run lights here all day long and never even miss a beat. There's nothing in your field of view. Not that these are intrusive and cause you to not be able to see, but man, like, you don't notice them until you take them away. So I took them off and moved them over to here, and there's a big difference not seeing these everywhere you go. But I do like them. These work out well too. I've had several customers use these as an antenna mount, since it doesn't hinge with the hood or move with the hood like the ditch light bracket does. So that's something to maybe keep in mind. But these are nice. The only downside is you do have to do a little plastic trimming of this panel piece here, and you know, people might not be ready to do that. That's okay. So coming around, we'll show. We're talking. Speaking of lights, I did pop the hood preemptively for this part, so you can see this is how the good used dirty engine bay works. I run a trigger controller 6-shooter, and yes, it is literally just bolted to the top of the airbox, and it works well. I haven't had any complaints with it. It's done well. It did take me a little bit of time to figure out how to basically, I was ignoring some of their wiring advice, and so I was using a lot of batteries in the controller, and that's my own fault. So I fixed that. I did literally just throw a kill switch next to it. So this is the enable disable for the whole system. So currently disabled, and you know, keeps it from searching. And granted, I can't kick the lights on whenever I want, but I do like it. I think, in all honesty, I could probably, they advise you to wire it into your, like, you know, running lights, which you could do that way if you know, as long as your parking lights are on, essentially all your controller works. But I wanted to be able to use it without having the vehicle on at all, so that's why this is set up the way that it is. So not much else going on under the hood of the truck at this point in time. Stock everything, just a bonus light controller. All right, moving our way down. What's the next big thing here? Well, camera's pointed at the tires, so let's go with that. So since the last time around, I was running a 32-inch tire. I've now switched to a 33-inch. It's a Toyo RT Trail. I actually really like these tires a lot. This is the smallest 17-inch size that they sell, which kind of shows the market that they're going for. But I think because this truck has the 9-speed in it, the 9-speed wants to start in second gear all the time. With the 33s, if I could figure out how to get the truck to start in first by default, would be phenomenal. So I think that 32 is kind of the sweet spot for this chassis, unless you're willing to do a little bit of extra work, or in my case, a lot of times if I'm trying to pull out somewhere, I will throw it into the sport/sequential mode, just so it takes off in first gear, and then when it shifts to second, I'll put it in drive. So not that big a deal, but something that is worth noting. I do have, these are the original version of the Traxta sliders. This is not the wide slide, this is just the slider, and I do like them a lot. I will say I'm a little kind of stunk that they weren't longer, and they stopped right here at this seam. And I understand why they did that. That's just because of the Passport and the Pilot have a shorter wheelbase, and all of the chassis share the same mounting points. So I got together with a buddy of mine locally, and we extended this bar by about 12 inches, and then the bar underneath is extended by about 14 inches, and that protects this back quarter. And from all my personal experience of any trail use of the truck, I've only ever damaged this spot right before you know, the rear tire wants to climb up onto an obstacle or something like that. That's always been where I've hit. So this extension has come in handy several times, and I'm glad that I took the time to do it. Since we're down here, we'll carry on around the truck, and I do have a shield that I made up for the trunk of the truck, and a lot of people have asked me to produce this. I'm trying to figure out a more effective way to make it more cost effective, one, and two, just to find a way that everybody can live with for
mounting it. This is actually stuck on with 3M. This sheet of aluminum has been stuck on with 3M on the trunk of this truck for almost 3 years now, and it's still on there. Haven't had any issues with it. I do have a couple little safety cables in the front that kick up. That way, if something was to happen and it fell off, it's trapped underneath the truck. It's not going to just fly off on the highway, because I don't want to cause any additional problems with anyone. So, but yeah, that's how this is mounted. I've had several people ask me how this is mounted. So, this is back here. Naturally, we have all of the Nolo design skid plates all the way up through the front. And while we're down here, actually I might just take a step back and get a shot of the truck a little bit more. Other things that we've changed since the last build, it's got a lot more pinstripes. It's going to get detailed in here in like a month, so hopefully those will most of those will come out. Things that have changed here in the front, I guess I haven't come up front yet. So I deleted the fog lights here, and I cut this whole corner out. And that, personally, I don't know. I think it looks all right. I'm not mad about it, and it works well. I still, as you can see here on the bumper, it's still scuffed up. Still managed to hit stuff even after cutting it out of the way, but it's inevitable, I think, when you're trying to take the truck places and see what you can do and can't do in it. We've got our tow hooks in the front, and as well as this is the front extension plate. So my front skid plate runs all the way back through there. We're testing out a layer of ultra high molecular weight plastic on it on the outside of the main skid. So that's in testing right now, and maybe a nice upgrade option for guys in the future. The lift, I get a lot of questions about the lift. What lift is it? It is currently, it is no one's lift. This is not a standard lift. This is kind of a hodgepodge of things here that are on the truck at this point. So I have where to start? So with the lift, the easiest way to say this is, so we are still using spacers, and I'm also using extended struts. So we have the OEM ridgeline strut with a shaft extension, as well as Eibach lift springs that are no longer for sale because the ride quality was really bad with them, and Eibach just quit selling them. So I have those lift springs paired with the shaft extensions on the OEM struts, and I also have an 1.5 inch top hat spacer in the front. I still maintained a 2-inch top hat spacer in the rear, and then I have an 1.5 inch of front subframe drop. I have about 7/8 inch drive shaft drop between the two carrier bearings to get the drive shaft back, and then we have about 1 inch in the 1.25 inch in the rear, and that's the current setup, and it's working really well for me. I like the dynamic that it gives the truck. It does seem more flexible. It rides a lot softer, and I can't not give Manny a shout out at NA Performance out in California for taking the time to come up with those parts and selling kind of bits and pieces of it. But sourced some, so I've got spacers from Traxta. It originally had a Traxta 3.5 inch kit on it. It was the last video we did, and now I've got parts from Traxta. I've got parts from HRG. I've got parts from a lot of guys that are really out there trying to push the platform and make it perform like it should, and that's awesome to see. So I'm really happy about that, and it's working well. I do get asked, sometimes people ask me what do I do for sway bars. So the rear, the way I like to run the truck at least, is I have the rear sway bar is still on the truck. The front sway bar is off, and it gives a lot more articulation in the front. And my logic for this is that the front is an open diff, and with the open diff, if you lift a tire, it's just going to basically spin until the ABS can get involved. And in this generation, the ABS is not nearly as well tuned as it is in the new stuff for like with the Honda 10-speed and the Trail Sport platform that's in the Pilot. That has immensely improved the capability of the vehicle with the Trail Torque logic, and this platform just doesn't have it. So if I can keep the tires on the ground longer, then that's what I want to do. So no front sway bar. I run the rear sway bar because the rear has the clutch pack system and can lock up the rear diff, or lock it up essentially. So if I do pick up a wheel, it can still keep pushing it forward. So that's kind of the logic behind how the setup is. Plus, ultimately, it's a little bit more playful when you don't have the front sway bar on, because the front's going to track and it's going to push a lot of force through the rear tires. So it actually makes it a little bit more tail happy, and it makes it fun to drive on like gravel roads and things like that. So other things, I'm thinking of other minor things. I've got the these are my goodness, Lamex film on the blinkers. The blinkers still light up even though they're yellow. They do light up orange like they're supposed to. Things on the inside of the truck, not a lot going on in here. We do have some of our prototype center console MOLLE panels. Those are going to be well, the order window for those just closed actually, so catch us on the next batch. We'll let you guys know when we're going to order again on the site. So that's in here. It's on both sides. I keep a scan gauge 2 in here. I like it. And then really the only other thing I've got in here besides a lot of car seats is this net system, which actually came in really handy camping this year in Colorado. It was nice because you could kind of throw your like pillow and stuff up there, and you didn't have to fight it all day. And it actually worked out really, really well. So yeah, it's basically the whole truck in a nutshell. You know, only took 17 minutes to talk about it, but yeah, so if you guys have any other specific questions or want to know more about the build, about why we make the parts we make, how we make them, anything like that, I always love a good conversation. So if you have questions, let me know. This truck, I guess, just as a base, it started life as an RTL. It's just an RTL. I just wanted leather seats. That's all I wanted, because I knew I'd get kids in there smashing through stuff and breaking in on things and who knows what else. So yeah, RTL. It's like 4 years of plasti dip coming up on the little piece across the front there on the grill. That's plasti dipped, and it's staying. It's fading a little bit, so I'll probably have to touch it up or just buy the gloss piano black setup from Honda. Yeah, that is the Nolo Designs Ridgeline in a nutshell. We got our logo here on the back, and I did just make the most recent modification. I guess one I think I didn't show is I did add 100 watts of solar to the top of the rack, just because we're going to be going to Overland East here soon, and I need a way to keep items refrigerated, not frozen. I got to keep them cold, and I got to keep them cold all weekend, not frozen. So, all right, guys, let me know if you need anything. See ya.